Hey, welcome back to Hanging with
All
Dedo.
right, little doggy dog
My name is
fence,
Derek,
where are you?
aka Dedo, and you are hanging with Dedo. Yeah, we're on the cusp of a new year here. That's me digging around in the grass. I'm looking for the electric dog fence we have buried. Well, let's back up a little bit. If you're new here, I'm trying to figure out how to make videos
I don't know.
to tell a story.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this mess you see here is
No,
a
it's
part of
down
the
through
story.
here somewhere.
But I haven't figured out really where to
Got it
start.
laying on top of the ground.
And I've
Maybe not.
decided I think I'll just let the doings of the day
Well,
kind of dictate
we don't
where we're at in the story.
put it up.
And here I'm trying to get ready. We had a part of a tree cut down. Generally, I do these things on my own because I'm a DIYer. You know, I like that. I like to do it myself if I can. But this was a particularly hard tree to put down without tearing something up, being the fence and all. So I had a guy come out and he cut it down real neat and laid it right here in between these two fences without tearing anything up. The idea was we would clean it up and move it, save us some money, because money's always a thing. And then one thing led to another, and it didn't get cleaned up. We end up with this big mess here where the grass grew in. And I guess the moral of the story is better to just do it than to put it off. But that didn't happen. So here we are today, trying to get this mess cleaned up. The weather is turning off cold. We're out of firewood in the house, and when you live in a big old ruin, if you go back to some of our previous videos, you'll see the big house, as we call it. It's part of this story too, a big character in the story, if you will. But it's cold when it's cold, and it's hot when it's hot, and it's expensive to heat and cool, and so Jill and I generally, when it gets cold, we have a fire in one room, and that's the room we congregate in mostly. And well, we don't have any wood, and Jill's on me. And if you've ever been married, or you are married, or you're gonna be married, listen. When the wife wants some firewood, best to try to get her some firewood. So, hey, let's knock out two things at one time, I think. Yeah, we'll clean up that mess and get us some firewood at the same time. So, hang around and I'll show you how it went. Now remember, these aren't how-to videos. We cover a lot of things in these videos. Fixing stuff, breaking stuff, making stuff, all those things. But look, like I said before, the moral of this story is we should have just cleaned this up when we had it down to start with. Now I gotta weed through all these weeds and sticks and all that stuff. But what we're trying to do here is get together some firewood. And the year is ending, and a lot of times when I'm out here in the outside, it gives me a chance to get some fresh air and think about all the things that are going on. And at this time I'm reflecting on I guess the year past, and then all of a sudden your mind starts to wander around, and thinking to myself a little bit, now that I'm watching this, I might have been manipulated a bit. Yeah, that's what happens when you're married a long time. Your partner figures out how to push your buttons, if you will. Hang around and maybe I can share some marital advice with you. Yeah, so what I do here is I just start figuring out, you know, cutting things into size that we can burn in the house. Throwing the sticks, I'm making a pile here. We usually have we have a big fire pit on the other side of this fence, so I'm, you know, cutting the little small stuff down. We'll burn a big brush fire, but the wind's blowing really hard today and it's almost dark, so we didn't start the fire, but that's why you see me throwing things over the fence, you know, creating another mess, if you will. But let me get cleaned up here a little bit more so we can see what we got under here and just exactly what we're going to need to get the job done. So let's see how it goes. Hey, so listen, you know, the wife shows up. She wants to know what's going on, so I'm trying to explain my method to my madness to her. She wants to chip in. Listen, Jill's about having a fire, and she knows sometimes, you know, I get sidetracked and start doing something else. But so she came out to make sure that I'm cutting the firewood and not, you know, getting into some other craziness. So she's trying to keep me on task here. So now that she's on the scene, things might start to look a little different than they were. So let's just hang around and see how she contributes. Okay, fellas, pay attention here. This is when it all starts to be clear to me exactly how it all went down. Pay close attention.
Got a saw big enough to cut those?
Do I got a saw big enough to cut those? What kind of fucking question is that? Listen, for the sake of the children, I cut out the rest of my response there, but did you hear? Look, I got this little saw out. I'm cutting up these. It's doing fine. We're making firewood. And then she asked me, do you have a saw big enough to cut that? Listen, I didn't realize it at the time, but I'm pretty sure she manipulated me with this. You just hang around and see what happens. Women, man, you gotta love them, right? Oh, listen here. You can see the sun's going down. I wish I'd got a picture of the sunset. It was beautiful. Look, Jill helped me throw the sticks over there. There's no doubt. She's going to make sure we get some firewood done. Now, I didn't realize it till the next day how I'd been manipulated. But I don't think I have time in this video to really share the whole thing with you. So hang around in the next one and I'll let you know how it went. Hey, listen, nothing like being manipulated. Oh, what do we have here?
In case you didn't know it, I'm pool man.
Huh, I'm the pool man too.
Pool man around here.
Pool man in overalls. What do you know? Well, listen, thanks for hanging with Dedo, and hang around and we'll find out if Jill manipulated me or not. So,
All right.
hey, I'll see you in the next one, all right?